morning, good afternoon. It's Chaitali Desai. And guys, did you know that PR, public relations, is not just for the rich and famous and the influencers of the world? It is for you, it is for me, it is for everyday people who want to get their name out there, build authority, and just show your full badassery. And today, I have brought on a very special guest, Laura Perkes with PR with Perks. What a fun play on her name. And we're going to break this down for you. Welcome, welcome, Laura. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. And I've literally just been like smiling so hard at that introduction because you're absolutely right. PR is for everybody, not just the rich and famous. So I love that.
Yeah, and I think, well, actually, I'll have to give that credit to you because when I used to think of PR, I'm like, oh, I'm not there yet. And then you and I actually got on a call together, and you're like, what do you mean? Where are you not? So before we get into all of that, could you introduce yourself a minute? I would love for people to hear from you who you are and what you're all about.
Of course. So as Chaitali has said, I'm Laura Perkes. I'm a PR strategist, a brand storyteller, and I'm the founder of my own boutique PR agency called PR with Perks. And essentially, we work with really ambitious, high achieving business owners, whether you are a solopreneur, whether you have a small team, whether you are a large global corporation. Our job is to really pull out the magic that makes you unique. And this is why I'm so passionate about teaching business owners that PR isn't just for the rich and the famous, because you have so many incredible attributes, stories, success stories that are going to help either educate or inspire somebody else who really needs you right now. So whether you've set up your own business because you were made redundant, whether you have just turned your side hustle into a full-time job because it's been so successful, or whether you create a product, you are doing it to make an impact on the world. You are here to create change. So we work with those change makers, really just to kind of amplify their authority, take them mainstream so that more people get to see, hear, and feel that experience of what it is to be like working with you.
I love that. And that's the show. No, I'm just joking. Guys, I will tell you from personal experience working with Laura and her team and personal experience of being friends with Laura, this is one of those spaces in the online world, in print, where you want to step into. And for those of you who have been like, oh my God, it is on my vision board, it is on my like goals list, don't wait. Start now, because as you're building your brand, as you're building your authority, you need some guidance. Just because we feel like maybe, well, I'll just use myself as an example. And I told Laura this. I'm like, look, I don't think my story is that exciting. And she's like, what? That's the kind of feedback, the kind of pulling out of the magic that she's speaking to. So, Laura, how did you even get started in this path?
So I fell into public relations, I guess, or not. I was about to say by accident, but as we know, nothing ever happens by accident.
No.
But when I was a student and I was kind of studying my A levels, I knew I wanted to go to university. I didn't really know what I wanted to study. And at the time, I loved the idea of being a radio DJ, you know, talking to guests, playing music, having fun. Oh my God, it completely lit me up. It ticked all of my boxes. And I went along to a university open day and I realized that being a radio DJ wasn't just playing music, having chats and having fun. Actually, I would be responsible for a lot of the tech and the sound and the mixer. And I just saw this recording studio and it was floor to ceiling knobs and buttons. And I freaked out. I thought, oh my God, I can't do this. And as the kind of day progressed, the lecturer who was introducing us to the course made this point that has stuck with me, and you could say haunted me for the last 20 plus years, is that to make it in journalism, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
But that line is across corporate, it's across so many different industries. So why do you feel that it's haunted you?
Because 17-year-old Laura is very different from the 40-year-old Laura that you're seeing and hearing from today.
Okay.
For me, that almost just completely knocked me off my perch, because it was, who am I? I don't know anyone. I'm from a small village in Hertfordshire. I haven't been on hospital radio. I haven't had experience on radio. I don't know anyone. I don't have any contacts. So that, combined with the fact that I didn't want to go anywhere near technology, I was like, no, I'm out. I'm out of this. This is not for me. And then I panicked, because I thought, oh, hold on, this is what I thought I was going to do, and now I don't think it is. And I remember having a conversation with my mum, and like, God bless mothers, like how you will answer. You know the answer to everything, which is super frustrating when you're younger, but when you're older, you really kind of get to appreciate the wisdom. And my mum just said to me, you're great at communicating. You're really good at asking the questions that other people shy away from. She said, so why don't you look at a communications degree? So I did. I literally typed in communications degrees into Google. PR popped up, and there are some really, really similar attributes across PR and journalism that I thought, wow, do you know what? I really like the sound of this. So applied for different universities, studied PR and media studies for 3 years, and I've been in the industry ever since.
Well, that's beautiful. And how cool is that? Because your story will resonate with so many people. I know it resonated with me, because that's one of the things. Like, none of us think our story is exciting. For some, it's like filled with heartbreak. For others, it's the quote unquote rags to riches. For others, it just feels so ordinary. So being able to have someone who understands that, I think is brilliant, because it makes it relatable.
Yeah.
Not only from like a mentor-mentee standpoint, but for you to understand where your client is starting at, right? That lack of, I don't want to say confidence, but like that lack of this wow factor we think we need. Because again, when we think PR, we totally think like your influencers or your actors, whatever, right? So being able to start without any of that, without having this like big sphere, I think is brilliant. Now, for those that feel like they don't have this amazing story, or they don't feel like they have this influential circle, where would you suggest they get started? Obviously working with you, but if it's not, if it's not like where would they start? What's that first thing in, even in owning the fact that you could do this? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking in circles.
No, you're not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
And so I'm going to just admit here that I am constantly learning, even about my own mastery. And back in January, I think, when I hosted my first ever virtual workshop, and you were on it.
Yep.
And I got you all to sit and think about, what do you want to be known for? And I don't think I've actually delved into that enough, especially with a lot of our clients. And for everybody kind of listening and watching, I've always worked with clients on a done for you basis. So we weren't necessarily having to do the foundational piece, but now that I'm stepping into this role of a mentor, and I'm helping business owners learn how to secure their own PR, I'm constantly tweaking the offer, seeing what it is that people need, listening, really actively listening to what feedback I'm getting. So if you do nothing else and you never work with me at all I ask you to do is start with, what do you want to be known for? Because often what you do isn't necessarily the entire piece of the picture. You may say to yourself, right, in 5 years' time, I want to be known as this. Embody that now. Embrace that persona now, because it's going to help you show up in a completely different way. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to have more courage, and you're going to own how incredible you are. And I know, especially as women, and again, I know this is going to be different in different cultures and different societies, but we are often afraid to take full ownership of who we are, because we don't want to come across as big-headed or like we're showing off, or that we're being offensive to people who aren't yet in the position that we are in. So actually, this exercise of what do you want to be known for almost gives you permission to kind of step out of your shell and really get playful and, you know, really invigorate yourself over, wow, actually, if I could do one thing, what is it I'd want to be known for? Because for me, I don't only want to be known as a PR mentor, I want to be known as a champion for female founders to really raise their profile and elevate their voice, you know, into the stratosphere, okay? Because we have so much abundance around us and opportunities are everywhere. Yeah. And it's just knowing that everything that you do is for the greater good, for your higher purpose, for you in 5 years' time. But don't wait 5 years. Start embodying that now. So that's the very first thing I'd say to people.
I love it.
Really get to know what you want to be known for.
I think that's beautiful. And it's funny because I have an episode where a podcast episode where I'm talking about something along those lines. And it's how being a quote unquote good girl is actually hurting all women across the board, because we're sitting in this space that says, well, I was told to be a good girl. It's to just sit in the corner and like agree. And it doesn't matter your culture, your creed, your race, your religion. That's prominent throughout society. And what I find fascinating is that it speaks to this very thing. So many women, they have this desire to, it doesn't even matter the scale, but they want to create change. And oftentimes we think it has to be, again, on this high actor, actress, influencer status. Yeah. But I'm going to invite everyone to understand the ripple effect. You change one person, that person goes out and changes the next person, and so on and so forth. And as women, we're constantly doing it. So as Laura is saying, why not embrace it today? Why not step into that and own it? Doesn't matter what it is you're wanting to create, whether it's wanting to create a better lifestyle at home or wanting to create change out even further. Yeah. It literally all starts with us. Yeah. So for the woman that's listening and that's like, oh, goodness, she wants me to embody it. I know I talk about embodiment all the time, but I'd love for listeners to hear it from your perspective. What does that mean to you when you say, oh, embody it today? Because, well, we all have a different way of sharing our thoughts behind that. So what are yours?
So for me, I almost see embodiment, and I'm a very visual person. So for me, embodiment is almost like wearing a cat suit. You're literally climbing in to this like power suit and you're zipping yourself up and you just feel amazing. You know what it's like when you have got the most stunning dress on and you just feel like $1 million? That's what embodiment is for me. It's almost, and it's not fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I don't believe in that at all.
No, it's almost find that most incredible outfit and just imagine yourself putting it on, okay? Because it's not every day that we can pop to the corner store in this most incredible outfit.
Actually, I just got a visual of being like in this like beautiful Indian outfit and going to buy milk.
Maybe we should do that to actually get used to people staring at us and admiring us and even judging us, because judgment doesn't always have to be negative.
So we need to come back to that.
Okay.
Yes.
So for me, embodiment is really putting on that kind of that catsuit, that gorgeous dress, and carrying yourself with the confidence that it doesn't matter what people are going to say to you. It doesn't matter how many people look at you. It's how you feel. And that is all that matters, because you are just going to radiate confidence, courage. You know, you're going to stop people in the street and they're going to be like, wow, I want to look like that. I want to feel like that. You can. you've just got to give yourself that time and space, because sometimes it's not as easy as putting on the fabulous dress. You know, if you're having a really crap day and you don't want to get out of bed, the last thing you want to do is put the dress on. But doing so will just completely change your mood, snap you out of a funk, and you will want to push ahead because you're a badass. It doesn't matter what happens. You're wearing this incredible outfit and you feel amazing. So
that's almost like the same analogy of like the people you didn't want to go work out, but you worked out and you loved it.
Yeah.
Right. Same concept. There are certain things we do in our day to day. We don't always feel like it, but you show up. And so let's really, though, I want to delve into this judgment not being negative thing, because that's huge. That's freaking huge.
Yeah, but now I've said it, I'm like, what if I can't back this up now?
No, you can. Here's why. It's perspective, right?
Yeah.
Look, what's a great example? Okay, I can't think of one right now, but the judgment is perspective. How it is given to you, it's up to you to decide, well, am I going to take it personally or am I going to use it as fuel?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, you've just really helped to give me some clarity, because this is something I've been playing around with recently, because one of my negative traits is that I can be judgmental, but I'm not often coming to the place of judgment from a place of negativity. I think sometimes it's how I interpret and what I deem to be the truth from what I am seeing. And this is, it's kind of like a magical power that I have.
Okay.
And I think this is heightened from social media, is I can read somebody's post and I know the truth. Don't ask me how I know. I just get this feeling that what I'm seeing is a presentation that doesn't necessarily reflect reality.
And that's because energy speaks louder than words.
Yeah.
So the energy behind the graphic, behind the caption, if we're talking social or actually anything really, right? Any words that are put down on paper.
Yeah.
It's the energy that's being given out. So for example, if I put out content today and I myself, and I'm like, I don't even believe in it. It could sound amazing. Like the words could be there, but they're not going to land. Or if they land, they're going to land with the person who's also, going back to the statement, faking it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure in my previous iterations, you had to start somewhere. So you hold on to that fake it till you make it line. I'm sure I did it. And I'm going to apologize to my previous self or anyone that I ever gave that permission to do so to. And I think the shift, whether it be for you, for me, for everybody, the shift is the faith until you make it. Yes. And I don't mean necessarily like religiously. It's and it could land however it needs to, but it's the faith to know, the faith to believe, to see, to trust that, okay, this next step, as batshit crazy as it may seem, it's the right next step. Right. And so I think it's beautiful to know that judgment can be positive depending on your personal spin and where you're coming from. Because it's true. You can come from that place of like, ugh, who does she think she is? Or you're coming from that place of like, oh, who doesn't she think she is? And so it's a very different, I mean, they're like at opposite spectrums, right?
Yeah, totally. So, yeah. And it's interesting as well. And just picking up on the word perception. And this is something that I use a lot when I'm having conversations with business owners, because what I see is available to you, you may not see yet.
Yeah.
And a lot of, and again, I've had conversations with people recently, just because I'm in the same program as them and we're just having like a coffee and a catch up. And so many people say to me, oh, I've been on your website. Now, I don't look at anyone's website before I have a conversation with them, because I don't want a preconceived idea of who I'm going to meet.
Yeah.
I want someone to show up in the moment as they are, and I'm going to pick up on the vibe. Because again, when we are presenting ourselves online or in person, we can put on a persona.
Mm.
And again, this is down to conditioning as much as it is us wanting to come across a certain way. But I'm like, no, just show up as you are and we'll deal with whatever's going on in that particular moment. So yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, I blow my own mind sometimes with actually
I love that.
just how I'm able to look at situations and scenarios from a different perspective. But this has taken like years of work. I've had to peel a lot of layers back to get to the point
of course.
where it's like, no, just meet people where they're at. And I think in the PR industry in particular, it's very different to what people are used to. And if I can give someone just like 1% more courage than they had before they spoke to me, that is enough for me. Because often it's that little spark, isn't it? Like
Yes.
as soon as that match lights, it's that sizzle sound that I want to get people to. I don't want them to get to the fire that they're creating. It's literally that spark. Because once that spark has happened, you know what is possible. You can burn out, or you can start a little fire, or you can start a massive one. But it's that initial spark first. And if I can move somebody through just with that tiny spark, my job's done.
That's beautiful. And as people are listening and they're like, well, I want my sparks lit. How are they? That sounds weird, but you know what I'm saying. How are they connecting with you? Or where can they find you?
So, rightly or wrongly, you will be able to find me across various different social media channels. So, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram.
Okay.
I'm on quite regularly. Otherwise, go to my website, and you know, you can download resources. You can just kind of get more of a feel for how I work. But again, the website is probably very different to who you're going to see on Instagram or Facebook. So actually, social media is probably the easiest place for you to connect with me and also get a feel for me as a human being as well as a business owner.
Oh, I love that. And you guys, you'll be able to find all of Laura's links and ways to connect with her in the show notes. So definitely connect with her. The chat is worth your time. And it's time. There have been too many strong, and I mean, obviously we're talking about women, but this applies to men also. There's too many strong stories, so many beautiful ways that you get to share who you are, what you do, and create that impact that you desire. So I highly encourage you to connect with Laura. All of her, again, all her links are in the show notes. Any last words you want to leave, Laura, or you want to share, Laura? I feel like there's something brewing.
There's always something brewing. Whether or not it's ready to be unleashed into the world. All I would, do you know, here it is. Stay curious, and this doesn't have to be anything to do with PR. It doesn't even have to involve running a business. Just stay curious and keep an open mind, because you never know where a conversation is going to lead you.
I love it. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today. If any of the message that we're sharing resonates with you, please tag us on social and share, because again, it's the ripple effect. If we helped leave you 1% better, then we want to help others do the same thing. So be sure to shout us out, tag us, and we will be shouting you out in return. Like always, we are wishing you a beautiful day. And remember, be like the phoenix, and it's time to rise. Thank you, Laura. Thank you to our listeners, and we'll see you again.